Koppel, host of the Time for Coffee podcast, where you get firsthand career advice into the jobs and industries that interest you the most. And before we start today's show, I have a quick favor to ask you. If you haven't already, I'd be incredibly grateful if you give us a rating and a review on iTunes. And if you're like me, you need to do it now because you'll forget later and because it's the best way to help others who may be in search of career advice to find this free resource. So press pause if you haven't done it and do it right now. I'll wait. Thanks so much and enjoy today's show. Hey there, Java Junkies. Welcome back to another episode of T4C. I'm your host, Andrea Koppel. 65 months, 280 weeks, and 1,120 episodes ago, the Time for Coffee podcast was born. My former CNN colleague, Guy Raz, who is best known today for his many top-ranked podcasts, including How I Built This, was my very first guest. Over the last almost 5.5 years, I have had the delight to interview hundreds and hundreds of other people in dozens of industries about what they do in their jobs and how they built their careers. The mission was admittedly a bit audacious: to empower 1 million college students to turn their degrees into careers they'll love. Why 1 million? It's a big number. And I thought 10 million would sound straight up crazy. But little did I know then how that mission and doing all those interviews would change me. A couple of years in, I decided to become a career coach for confused college students. My entrepreneurial endeavors then morphed into digital course creation, and soon after I became an adjunct professor at the University of Maryland, where I've had the opportunity to teach so many more students about how to start their post-grad professional journey. If you'd asked me back in November 2017, when I first got the idea to start a podcast, what I'd be doing today, 6 years or almost 6 years in the future, I would never have guessed. And here's the thing. My story isn't the outlier. It's the norm for just about everyone. No one can predict what they'll be doing in a year, let alone 10 or 20 years down the road. Some of that is because the world is too much in flux. And a lot of it is because our lives are full of serendipitous synchronicities, lucky and unlucky breaks that push or pull us in directions we could never have anticipated. And that, my dear Java Junkies, is why this will be the final Time for Coffee episode 1120. And it's also why I'll be launching a brand new video podcast in a few months called This Magic Life. I want to shine a spotlight on the stories of remarkable people who've done remarkable things as a result of some random, serendipitous, or what I prefer to call magical event, experience, or encounter. The decision was bittersweet for sure. I have loved hosting and producing Time for Coffee, and I have learned so much from all of my incredible guests to whom I owe a tremendous debt of gratitude. I'm also incredibly grateful to the scores of University of Maryland, Merrill School of Journalism students, as well as a handful of other students from other colleges who've invested their time and energy and great ideas into editing, blogging, and managing social media for T4C over the years. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And finally, I want to thank each of you Java Junkies who has loyally shown up week on week to binge on your favorite caffeinated career conversations. The catalog of episodes will continue to live on the Time for Coffee website at time4coffee.org. So whenever you need a caffeinated fix 24/7, you know where to go. And please watch this space for more news about when This Magic Life will be launching later this year. And make sure to give me a follow on LinkedIn as well, as it's where I post most days. And I'd love to hear from you about suggested guests you think I should bring on This Magic Life. Until then, thank you so much for making time for coffee with me and the entire T4C community. It has been an absolutely amazing 5.5 years. Stay caffeinated and stay tuned for This Magic Life. Thanks so much for listening to this latest episode of T4C. And if you're interested in learning more about my coaching services for confused college students and recent grads, feel free to check out the Time for Coffee website under the coaching tab at time4coffee.org or text me at 202-236-5712. That's 202-236-5712.